season of joy, and we welcome all those who are joining us online and all those who've joined us in person. I have to make an initial apology to the people online because at the end we will go and make Kiddush in the Sukkah and do a little rain dance with the lulav and etrog. So for those of you that are here, you get the joy of doing the rain dance, but for everybody online, you'll have to stomp about in your own living rooms. That's fair enough, you don't have to.
I want sunshine.
Oh, I see. So this is a misconception about the Sukkot rain dance. We're not praying for torrential rain, we're praying for healthy rain. So you want it to be, if you think back to Sukkot is probably older than Judaism, this practice of lulav and etrog. It probably goes back about 4,000 years maybe. And people would be terrified that the exact right rain was going to come to ancient Israel. Because if it stays too dry, then you're at risk of flash flooding. If it rains too much, your crops fail completely. So our prayer here in England is a bit like, you know how, I'm told, farmers around this time of year really want a frost in January? That's what we're praying for. We're praying for like exactly the right rain that's going to make everything fertile and not flood everybody, not keep things too dry. And we are, because we're going to do our little bit of extra at the end, we'll just do Shabbat morning service 5, Shabbat evening service 5, which begins on page 88. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. In the past week, some have known sorrow or disappointment, and for some the future looks far from bright. Let this Sabbath be an oasis of quietness. To the lonely, may it bring companionship. To the sorrowing, comfort. To the dispirited, courage. To all of us, peace of mind and hope for the future.
That's particularly appropriate, perhaps, at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Who would like to lead us in lighting the Shabbat candles? Thank you, Judith. You were voluntold. You light them first and then bless. And the reason...
Okay, tell me again.
Yes, go on.
Because one of the things you're not supposed to do during Shabbat is light a fire. So you light the fire and you cover your eyes and say the blessing. So it's like you've done it
Before Shabbat happens. So Shabbat happens from the moment that you've lit the candles. And you can't light a fire on Shabbat. So it's also, in a way, it's an anti-Karaite polemic. It's a polemic against biblical literalism.
Because it says blessing at Shabbat.
Yes.
Okay.
Amen. Shkoyach. Okay, so on page 88, we'll read responsively. There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own. There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed. There are days when we think only of ourselves. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. ישמחתני אדוני בפועליך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו משפטיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק התמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח. כארז בלבנון יזכה, כארז בלבנון יזכה, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה. צדיק התמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח יפרח, צדיק התמר יפרח. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ג'נובון ושבע, דשנים ורענים יחיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולתה בו. Let's read responsively on page 19. The Eternal One reigns in grandeur robe. The world stands firm, it shall not be moved. Your throne is established from of old. The oceans roar, eternal God, the thundering oceans roar. Yet, greater than the roaring waves, mightier than the great breaking seas. Sure are the proofs of your power, O God. We now turn to welcome in Shabbat on page 91 with this great Kabbalistic prayer that dates back to the 16th century. And it comes from a time when the Kabbalists of Tzfat, they used to go out all dressed in white and literally welcome Shabbat as if it were a bride coming into their homes. And so in response, for the last verse, it's traditional to rise and face the door as if Shabbat is a bride coming into her chamber and we are the attendants. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem ultiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, mehirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshvat techila. Lecha dodi לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום, העצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובסוהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. יננאי נאי נאי, 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 יננאי נאי נאי. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Yananai nai nai, 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 yananai nai nai. You may be seated. Let's read together on the top of page 93. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars and the courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, God, whose word makes evening fall. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavata, Amcha ahavata, Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata, Otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumeinu nesiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam ve'layla, nege yomam ve'layla. Ve'ahavtacha, al tasur mimeinu, le'olamim. Baruch אתה אדוני, אוהב את עמו ישראל. Let's rise for the Shema on page 94. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We may be seated. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, Eternal One, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt, forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then full of joy we sang together. Ami chamocha be'elim Adonai. Ami chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora. Tehilot oseh belem Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fadah Adonai et Yaakov uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai Ka'al Yisrael. At this point, I want to pause and ask, is anybody praying for anybody's healing? Has anybody got anybody on their mind who they know is in need of healing of body, mind, or spirit? In that anyone that we hold in our hearts, for all those who we wish to be better, we say, El Narafana La, God heal them, Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim, blessed is God who heals the sick. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Grant, eternal God, that we may lie down in peace, and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your wise counsel, and for your name's sake be our help. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace. We praise you, O God. May your sheltering peace descend on us and on all who dwell on earth. If you feel able, we may stand for the Amidah. Yanananananana Adonai, Yananananana Safatai Tiftach, Yananananana Ufi Yagid, Ufi Yagid Tahilatecha, Yananananana Adonai, Yananananana Safatai Tiftach, Yananananana Ufi Yagid, Ufi Yagid Tahilatecha, Yananananana Adonai, Yananananana Safatai Tiftach, Yananananana Ufi Yagid, Ufi Yagid Tahilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, וחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מחלחל חיים בחסד, מקיים מתים ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממיץ ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. Let's read together. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to a closer communion with you. Though you are near to us at all times, you reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts to you in worship and meditation. In you, O God, our humanity is exalted. You are our life. From you come its greatness, its power, its beauty. Established in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all the circumstances of life. May this service renew in our hearts the sense of your purpose and bring us peace. ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. המקדשי שביעי, המקדשי שביעי, כולם ישבחו ויתענגו מטובך. והשביעי, והשביעי, רצית בו וקידשתו. חמדת ימים, חמדת ימים, אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית. On the top of page 100. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal God, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ratzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael, utfilatam b'achava tekabel, utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, shotecha levadecha b'yira na'avod. We give thanks that you, Eternal One, are our God, as you were the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, O God, source of goodness, to whom our thanks are due. Vince, I always get the tune to this wrong. Would you mind singing Shalom Rav on the middle of 101?
Shalom Rav Yisrael Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Tassim Leolam. Ki Eschol Melekaton L'chol HaShalom. Ki Eschol Melekaton L'chol HaShalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tassim Leolam.
V'tov Melecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael v'kol ha'amim v'kol ed v'kol shah yishlom lecha.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tassim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tassim Leolam. Tassim Leolam. We praise you, God, the source of peace, and in the peace that follows, we'll take time for silent prayers. Ratzon imrefi vegion lipi lefanecha Adonai suri vegoali. Earlier today, Nicola, the premises manager, came round to have a chat, and she brought me a packet of biscuits and asked me to give them out. And so I'm going to give them out now, but don't eat it yet, because it's actually a prop device for the sermon. So please take a biscuit and pass it on, unless there's a reason why you can't have a biscuit.
This is going to be a regular thing.
The biscuits? Oh, please God. I want people coming back. What did you say, sorry, Judith?
No increase attendance.
Yes, exactly. And we can pass one over to Robin. And Robin, if you can pass one, Robin, my goodness. What's happened to my brain? Oh my goodness. Why has your name gone from my head? I'm so sorry. It is your name. It's been such a long day. I started at 7 this morning, so please forgive me. And it's been and Robin, if you can pass them round to the people on Zoom as well. Okay, so my question is, for a religious Jew, what do you do before you eat a biscuit?
You say the bracha for biscuits.
Exactly, you say the bracha for biscuits. And now the question is, why? Why do you say the bracha for biscuits?
That's gratitude. Because you're not taking anything for granted. You're showing your appreciation.
Lovely, not taking it for granted, appreciation, gratitude, pleasure, other reasons.
Tradition.
Tradition, thank you, yes, love that. There's another reason, the reason given by the Talmud might surprise you. Because if you don't bless it, it's stealing. From who? Who are you stealing from if you don't bless it? From God. Because everything in the world belongs to God. Everything that exists belongs to God. And our lives are just on loan. Everything that we eat, everything that we do is just a loan, just a gift. And so we're saying, thank you. I'm taking this, I'm accepting this as a gift, rather than taking it without asking. And this, to me, is the message of this week's parasha, which has this lovely line, just 3 words. It says, Ve'achalta, and you will eat. Ve'savta, and you will be satisfied. Uve'rachta, and you will bless. That everything that happens, we are supposed to enjoy it, we're supposed to be satisfied, and we're supposed to say, thank God, thank you. I think at this season of Sukkot, we're really encouraged to think about gratitude. We build this structure that we know is going to be destroyed, and if we're really frum, and none of us are, we go out and we sleep in the rain, and then we get back into our beds and we think, thank God I have a roof over my head. And even without doing it, I look out at the sukkah and think, thank God I have a roof over my head. And we think about, fertility and the land, and we think, thank God I've got food. For me, this is my 3rd day in the job, and it's the 3rd day of Sukkot. And as Shabbat came in, some of my colleagues started texting me. They said, how's it been? You're in your new post, how is it? And the last person to ask me was my beloved colleague and friend, Cantor Rachel Weston, she was the one who convinced me to become a rabbi. She texted me and asked, how's it going? How are you feeling about the new community? I said, I love the community. I love the people. And I'd forgotten, I love being a rabbi. I'm so glad I get to be a rabbi. I'm so grateful. And so, at this season, at this opportunity, I ask you to just take a moment and think, what am I grateful for? What makes me happy to be alive? And what are the things that I can say, I've eaten, I've been satisfied, and now I just want to bless it. I open up if anybody has any moments or things of gratitude that are on their mind. And the people on Zoom, if you want to type something and we can read it out as well.
They thank you for their biscuits.
Find new friends.
It's going to sound a bit heavy, but I'm very pleased to have some physical skills, like being able to see. At the moment, developing joy. Drawing bodies.
I think it was taken.
It's hard to think of the good things at the moment. It seems almost wrong when you think, to think how fortunate we are not to be in the situation so many others are. And to enjoy it without just a feeling of concern and remorse for others. it just feels uncomfortable.
I hear you.
Sarah Austin said support and love of family and friends. And Sandra Levine said same for her.
I think for me, because I don't really have much in the way of family left, being an only child and having since lost parents and all my aunts and uncles and most of my cousins, that I've been lucky enough in the last little while to actually make some friends who are Joseph family. So it's good.
I'm a friend of the synagogue, so I'm happy to be amongst you. Discuss these things. Point of view.
For friends, for family, for chosen family, for community, for the privileges we enjoy in peacetime, for the people that we love, for creativity and skill, for all these things that make us grateful. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei mezonot. Blessed is God, creator of the universe, who brings forth all sorts of things.
Sandra Levine said she's thankful to have you as our new rabbi. And I second that.
And I'm thankful to have you as my new congregation. It's going to be a challenge while we eat, but Aleinu is on page 310? I look to my esteemed colleague. Neither of us remember. No.
My Sidor, home stuff is automatically to it.
520, that's it. Thank you very much. If you feel able, let's stand on page 520. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורר עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו. וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. And on page 521, let's say together, trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יחיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Page 523. Life is finite. Like a candle, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. Then it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. Yet we do not despair, for we know that we are more than a flickering flame. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and light, of death and life. As in our hearts we name our loved ones, we pray that the divine presence will comfort us and all who mourn. I know that we are mourning for Michael Osorio, who died in the last 2 weeks. Is there anybody else who we're remembering at this time?
You should remembrance like this.
I should. Oh, it's on the bimmer. Fantastic. Very efficient. No, it's not. That's the
No,
Yom Kippur
down there,
tradition.
they have shoved. There was one. Well, on shelves down there, a bunch of papers, newspapers.
No. So sorry not to have the list. I'll get a new one printed for tomorrow morning. Well,
There was one.
I believe you.
Time.
Well, for all those whom we wish to name, we'll say together Kaddish on page 524. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabba, v'yomad ivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehesh Rabba mevarach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushkachata v'nechemata. De'amiram v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol b'nei Adam. V'imru amen. That's it. And so service announcements. Tomorrow is Sukkot Shabbat, and I'll be doing a special sermon on what does Taylor Swift have in common with King Solomon. So do come along if you're interested. Next Friday is Simchat Torah, which will be starting here at 7 p.m. It will begin with a Yizkor service and then go into dancing and rejoicing. Are there announcements? What's going on? Anybody know?
Book club.
Yes?
Day after that on Simchat. Yeah, next weekend.
Next Saturday is Book Crashers, and you're reading Noah's Wife.
Yeah, indeed.
Who's it by?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Who's one of the most popular authors at the present.
Available Morgan bookshops.
Fantastic. Well, last time I did Yigdal, I was told I was doing the wrong tune. So can anyone suggest for me a tune for Yigdal? I probably won't know it, but I can. It's on page 526, if anybody wants to lead us, or we can just die and get the spirit. Or I can do the tune that I know. You want to do it, or should I do it to my tune? Okay. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimsa ve'enei el matzivato echad ve'en yachid keyichudo ne'elam v'gam min sof le'achduto ein lo damut haguf ve'en no guf lo nachroch אליו קדושתו, קדמן לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו. חינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שאור נביא, ומביט את אמונתו. תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יחליף האל, לא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו. צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו. גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלתו, נותן לרשע רע כרישתו. ישפוך לקץ ימין על כל בשר רוחו, לפדות מחקקץ ישועתו. חיי עולם נצח בתוכנו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. מי ששכן את שמו בבית הזה, הוא ישכין ביניכם אהבה ויחווה ושלום. May the one whose presence dwells in this house cause love and harmony, peace and friendship to dwell among you. Shabbat shalom, moadim l'simcha. And should we make our way out with our lulav and etrog and do a little kiddush in the sukkah?
Shall we do one?
Oh, wonderful. Yes, please. Thank you.